Okay, welcome everybody to the Baron Von Video Livecast, where we will talk about storytelling, filmmaking, and science fiction. And tonight I've got a local filmmaker who has is just completing a recent short film. So we're going to talk with him about a whole bunch of stuff. His name is Christian Ramirez, and he
Hey,
knows how to tell a story.
yeah, well, that's what I tell myself. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for having me on your show. I appreciate it.
Oh, sure, sure, sure. Yeah, yeah. I've been anxious to just pick your brain and pepper you with questions and all that because I'm always very interested in how people go about storytelling in general,
Yeah,
but particularly for visual storytelling, all the different aspects. I mean, I don't know about you, but I love virtually every aspect. About the only thing that I wouldn't want to do is costumes.
yeah,
Costumes and makeup. I mean, special effects makeup. I could do a little bit of special effects makeup, but other than that, I love every part of it.
yeah, man. Like, something about just the process of talking to every department to get a singular vision on frame. It's pretty thrilling, man. Like, because I was out of practice for at least 9 years. I was just concentrating on writing, but now I'm jumping back in the filmmaking saddle. And yeah, it's just the last project that I was working on was called Answers, and it's currently in post production. And that project really it really tested me technically as a director because I not only had to adapt a play into a script, but I also had to talk to the DP, and then we had a production designer. We had departments. We didn't have like this big crew, but there was. I mean, I was talking to at least four different people about it.
Right? Yeah, you gotta wear
Yeah,
all those hats when you're the director, and particularly it correct me if I've misinterpreted this, but from my understanding, you would prefer, like, in every case, to write, direct, and edit, right?
Well, yes. I mean, this one is a little different because the only reason I adapted it into a script because my friend Byron, because last year we, I was pestering him to film something, and because I was jumping back and directing. I wanted to direct an actor. He was looking to do some work on screen. He's an actor, so he said, like, let's do this scene called from a play called Clinically Undepressed, and it was just the scene about this alcoholic father who is confronted by his wife because his drinking just got out of hand, and CPS was called. So we were doing that as a practice, and then we put it on YouTube, and then the playwright saw our project, and he loved it. He loved it so much that he gave us his blessing to submit to film festivals, and he placed it on his website, and now we're following each other on social media. So it just can't. It didn't come from. I didn't do that because I wanted to submit it to film festivals. I just wanted to work on something, and because of that, Byron had a great experience working with me, and the same with him. It's like he proposed to me. He came up to me. He's like, "Hey, Christian, I wanted to adapt this play. I always wanted to do this play called Answers, but I'm curious to see if maybe we could do it as a short film." I was like, "Yeah, man, let's do it." I mean, he gave me the play. It's about these two detectives from the '70s who are trying to get a wrongful confession from the suspect, and they're paying him on all these murders on our central character. But the question is he going to sign the document or not? So that's the whole story right there. So they break them down psychologically, and yeah, man, it's So I guess what I'm going back, here's a poster, is that I had to adapt it because nobody else was going to do it for us because it was just him and me. So I'm like, all right, I have final draft. I got the play. I'm gonna transcribe it to see how many pages it's gonna be, and it turned out to be like 33 pages. I'm like, I wanted it to at least be 20 minutes so we could, if it turned out well, we could submit to film festivals and just give us a better opportunity to be accepted into a film festival. But again, like that wasn't our goal. Was to it was just to see if we could make something look professional with a bare bones crew, and that was our objective. But it came out looking pretty great. That we're looking it to for everybody to watch it, basically. You know.
Right. Yeah. And when you did you have to decide like how to shorten it, or
Yeah.
did you basically just kind of take a chunk, later in the play, or did you figure out how to tell the whole story just in a more condensed version?
Uh, I found a way to tell the story in a condensed version because over like around 2015, I was helping this one individual write a screenplay for him, and he gave me this great advice. He said, like, once we were done with the draft, he said, Christian, now it's time for you. It's kind of like a house of cards. You see how many cards you could take out from the script before the foundation starts to tremble and fall apart. So if it falls apart, you got to keep certain things in. So I was when I was adapting the play, I was taking out a lot of cards to see if the most important part is keeping the tension there, keeping the plot there, that it didn't seem too rushed. So I was taking things that seemed like I wouldn't say repetitive, but it worked in the stage play. But for like the visual medium, I felt like it needed to be condensed. So it was like a house of cards, man. I was just taking things, and so like it felt like the foundation was about to fall. But I think I did a good
Yeah.
job.
Oh no, yeah, yeah. I bet you that was just a fun process
Yeah,
to go through.
yeah, it was a good
Mm.
exercise, man. But like, because I didn't want to butcher this, this playwright's project, and I was very careful not to take out like the whole crust of like the play, and just like certain things that I don't think would it wouldn't affect the storytelling in the short piece that we made.
Right, 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 right. Yeah. So let's let's take a look at some of these things, and these are just some images. Are these like are these actually freeze frames from the final
Yeah, these are
footage?
like freeze frames, like that I grabbed from DaVinci Resolve. Like I did the screenshot. This is like a low compressed version of the screenshot.
Right.
But this is like the color
Oh,
that I have for it, because
nice.
we shot it on something called Vlog. Vlog, you just shoot everything like no saturation, then you bring the color back in post, and then you start color grading it and giving it the look that you want. And I went with this cool look, like like a blue, like a cool tone to it. Because originally it was a warm look, and the actor that's to the left over here, that's leaning into Byron, his shirt, it was a warmer look, and his shirt in the background, it was blending in against the wall, and it was bugging me. I'm like, how come certain shots were bugging me? I'm like, what was the problem? And I was looking at it and looking, it's like, oh, it's because there's no contrast. He's uh, there's no depth to it, because like everything's just all warm. He doesn't stand out. So I went with the cooler color. So now his shirt, there's a contrast between the white wall and his shirt. Instead of it being kind of like a warmer look. Like tungsten almost.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. The colors look just yeah, fantastic. I mean, I could tell, and I do the same thing. I shoot in C log because I've got
yeah,
a Canon, and yeah, for the same reason, you have so much flexibility, and you can really push those things. I haven't had the kind of project I've done yet where I've really tried to you know make things look um, super saturated or
right,
in
yeah.
a different kind of you know cinematic style yet. But yeah, I'm totally looking forward to the kind of project where yeah I would really want to push the color and see how far I could
Yeah,
get.
man. Because I was a little, because I'm still a noob when it comes to. I'm not a color expert or anything like that. But
Oh,
again, like I watched a lot of tutorials on how to make your video look like cinematic, and I was just, I was losing more of my hair trying it out. Like, I was like, wow, like it's all like overblown now, like his face is all like. And then I started figuring out different wheels in the color page, like, oh, that brings the saturation down, so now there's a, a better balance on the color. So I'm like, oh, so it was just experimenting. I was experimenting on the color, and I got it to the point where I felt confident with it. But like after we're done with the sound design, I'm gonna see if I could reach out to like a professional colorist, and so you could kind of like just tweak some of the skin tones. But the most of it's already, I feel like it's pretty looks pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And obviously, this is a better lit shot.
Yeah.
This is getting kind of technical, but what camera was used to shoot this?
Well, we used a Panasonic Lumix
Mhm.
5S2. I always mix up the way like the model number, but it was a Lumix uh, S2, I think. And we were using cinematic lenses, cine lenses, because we were using prime lenses, but there were cine lenses, and the difference between cine lenses, they go by T stops instead of F stops, and they said it's better light calculation that way. I mean, it looked fantastic because we were using a 35 lens, and then an 85 lens, and also a 12 lens. So we had like a wide angle, a 35, and then like the 85 like we use for like the close-ups, like really good close-ups, And the 85 images look great, man. They look solid. And I was just like, I'm impressed by the way the lenses made it look like a movie.
Yeah, that's terrific. Um, Yeah, so I see all your gear. Yeah, it's funny with these smaller cameras that the cage and the gear and all the stuff around it is bigger than the camera.
Yeah. It's just like a little box. And oh,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
light. And then you start adding all this crap to it, and then you're breaking your back, and you need like a back brace to hold it.
and was most of this done on a tripod or
Well, we had
you?
we did have like the tripod, and I have a dolly, a Dana dolly that I bought, and we were using that. What was giving us a hard time was the fluid head, because I was using the fluid head from the tripod, and it wasn't as smooth as I wanted it to be. But it was only because we were limited on our equipment. But the cinematographer, he did a great job, because on the first day, his assist his the first AC wasn't available on the first night, so I was helping him out with like ranking focus, and like we were doing it like manually. But on the second and the third day, when his buddy came on set, he added the autofocus, so it was just like it was a machine, and the machine did the was connected to the auto, the focus pull, and then he was like in the other room, just kind of doing this and doing that, and it was great, man. And both the cinematographer and his first AC were just, they're simpatico. They're just talking to each other, very cool. There was no like, what I liked about this production is there was no drama. Everybody came in just wanting to work and hang out. But it was a lot of work. it was intense.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I was curious about this. Are you watching uh, some of the shots while you're in here?
Yeah, that
And
was our
what's
video
with the red
village.
light, dude?
The red light. The red light is because we were shining. At the previous still that you saw, like how we saw like the blinds right there. The blinds, like the Venetian blinds,
Yeah.
or right there. So that was a light that we had, and the light came with like these things called cookie cutters. So you just place
Mhm.
the filter on there, and you shine it. So it was basically the light from that lamp, and that's why it was all that's why that shot of me is all like orange, because of that light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look pretty happy with the take there.
Yeah, man, it was awesome, because like I thought it was just, I'm very grateful that we were able to have like a video village, like very small. It was cramped, you know what I mean? Everybody was, and I was watching the monitor, and it was just a lot. I watched a lot of interviews with directors. They say like they like being like next to the actor, but I'm the first person who's watching the movie, and I need to make sure that everything, the framing's right, and that like I'm watching TV. You know what I mean? Like I'm watching the movie as we're making it. If I don't believe it, we're gonna do it again. So it's just seeing those moments that I saw in my head displayed on the monitor. That's why I was smiling. It's like, oh, that's what I pictured, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, like everything that I when I was making this movie, I was adamant that I was going to shoot. We were going to start the movie looking outside, and then we pull back from the window, like looking at the city, and then we pull out, and then like we're in the room, and then we do like a dolly, we swipe to the left, and then these detectives come in, but we only see like the torso, right? So their face is obscured, and then they set up. But like in here, it looked great, but when we were shooting it, it didn't look good. It didn't look cinematic. Is what I'm saying. Is and like it was bugging me, and it was bugging me. It's like, and I'm like, well, what can I do? Like I didn't like for that to be like the very first shot. Like I knew we could do better, and then I was thinking about it. It's like, oh, we have the investigation board. Let's shoot the investigation board first for our opening sequence, and we'll just do dissolves as they're setting up for their interrogation. We go back and forth from then setting up, the voice recorder, setting down the handcuffs, and then going back to the murder board, and with the credits and all that. It's like that's more cinematic than just looking out the window and pulling back. So I had to admit to myself that what I planned originally wasn't going to work. So I had to readjust myself. And that's what, when you're directing something, you have to put your ego aside and, think about what's better for the movie instead of like, yeah, that was my idea. It looked like shit, but that was my idea, but you have to tell yourself, you have to admit to yourself that your original thinking is wrong and you need to figure something else out. So I was able to do that to redirect my course,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I haven't been around enough filmmakers, to know this for sure, but it sure seems to me that when you got a real strong vision for the story you want to tell, then the ego stuff just doesn't come up.
Mm-hmm.
Not because we don't have egos. Of course, we have egos,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't get in the way of telling the story. So, the handful of people that I've worked with on short films and whatnot, uh, you know, I I've stayed in touch with them over many years, specifically because they're people who are really, they want to tell a story,
Yeah.
and they don't, they're all to a person, low drama, low drama, high fun. That's
Yeah,
that.
man.
That's my barrier.
Yeah, man. There was a moment where we were doing the serious scene. I think it was the second night, and as we were prepping the the actors, Byron and Garrett. Garrett played like the sadistic cop, like he was like kind of like enjoying torturing, our character. But anyways, before we were setting up, and they started playing patty cake all of a sudden, just to kind of like liven up the scene because it's going to be intense. And they just kept on going back and forth, and they were in perfect sync, and that was a great metaphor right there. Not a metaphor, but like a good example that they're scene partners, and they had good chemistry because they were feeding off each other. And them playing patty cake and not missing the beat was a good example of how well they performed with each other.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Where other than Byron, how did you wind up casting? It's three main characters.
Yeah, Byron wanted to play the suspect, which is the guy in this, who they want him to force the confession, and Garrett and John. Well, Byron and me, we were looking at other, we were casting, and I auditioned John Lance and my friend Steve, and then he auditioned other some other actors that he knew, and we locked the first uh, cast, but then they dropped out. So we had to like, all right, we lost those two actors. Let's look again. And then Byron found Garrett through a friend, and then I found John through Facebook because he's always posting his reels on Facebook, and I saw him. I saw his performance. I was like, and he had like the story takes place in New York, and he has like that persona that he's from, you know, uh, Manhattan, and I asked him if he was interested in auditioning for Answers, and he was totally down, and he gave a great performance, and that's how we locked the picture, locked the cast, and yeah, it was just through friends, and you know, I'm glad that our first choices didn't work out because these new guys they brought their A game, man. They were so professional. They knew exactly what they needed to do. And at certain points, I thought it's like I didn't really have to do much directing on them. I just told them I was like, hey, can you play it more like a psychopath? Can you be like a dick? You know what I mean? Like I gave them those small directions, and then I saw in their eyes that they got it, and then they just did their thing, you know. And it's because right now I'm taking this acting for directing course, which is they show you how to better communicate with your actors. And my instructor said, Kenneth, he said that if you cast well, then you barely have to direct the actors because if you cast them perfectly, you just have to kind of like just adjust certain things and you just watch them play. I'm like, that's what happened. It was just we were just lucky that they were on it. They knew their lines out. I'm surprised that they remember their monologues. I wouldn't be able to do something like that, man. I would need my script, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Oh
But
yeah, yeah. It's a
there
great
was
example of the the collaborative nature of things, and yeah. If you got people that are just there to facilitate the end, the end result,
yeah,
then yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, you never know, right? Like,
yeah,
it seems like, if you keep doing this over and over again, it seems like you might run into, some drama queens
oh, of
from
course,
time to time,
yeah,
but I don't know. Maybe, maybe there's a way to, kind of suss that out early on. I certainly don't have enough experience working with actors to, to be able to tell one way or the other. I just got very lucky on,
yeah. We were
my
very
short film because my experience was exactly the same. And they were bringing stuff that I didn't even tell them to do,
mhm.
right? They
Yeah.
they knew
They're
the script.
collaborating. They know it, you know.
Yeah, they know the story, they know the script, so they were bringing their interpretation, and I'd take a cut, and it was like, man, I didn't think about doing that. Gestures and
Mhm.
everything. As a as a very newbie director, I wasn't even thinking about those kinds of things. I was thinking about shots and framing and lighting and pacing and yeah, right.
Mhm.
So yeah, I was just very lucky to have some real professionals on there who yeah knew their lines and were just there for the performance.
There wasn't a moment where Garrett he had trouble remembering his lines, so we had Byron because we had the camera facing in, so we had this. He had this. Byron was just holding the script so he could read the. He pulled it off, but for the majority of the time, man, like everybody knew their lines, and it was great, man. And yeah, we were just doing night shoots, and we were shooting at my friend's dad's office. His dad does this Guatemala cultural thing, and I don't really understand it, but we were using his office space. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and so you see you were telling me this was a 3 day shoot.
Well, actually, it was 4 days.
4 days.
Well, one day for prep and then 3 days for shooting because the the first day, from experience, you don't want to, do the set design, the camera work, everything all at once, and then film. Because I've done that plenty of times, like in student films, where they do everything that day, and then they're not shooting until like 4 hours, and the actors are just hanging around, and everybody's kind of getting restless, and then you still. So like I had the foresight, like, dude, we have to come in Thursday night, set up, get all our gear unpacked, do the set design in the office, so it just doesn't look bare, so it looks like an investigation room. And yeah, so it was like it was intense, man. So like that, doing that prep work that one day helped us shoot the next day, but it was still pretty hectic the first day of shooting, because we were figuring out the blocking, and then like our first shot. So we started off with like a wide, and then we just brought the camera in closer. And yeah, man, it was just it was a fun experience, man. I did my little prep talks each day we were filming. So it was cool, man.
Yeah, yeah. Did the production go more or less like you had planned, or did certain things take like a lot longer?
Oh, it's like,
Was anything quicker than you thought?
well, it's kind of like when you make a movie, it's like Murphy's Law. You know Murphy's Law, right? Whatever can go wrong goes wrong, and that's what was happening. Like, well, on the second night, we had parking there, but then like for some reason, the security guards there said we couldn't stay there past 12. If not, we were going to be locked in. So we had to find parking outside, and we're shooting like close to MacArthur Park. You know MacArthur Park?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
yeah, it's notorious. And they're just like, we're basically filming outside of Gotham City. Like there's constant like sirens, crazy people just talking outside, and we're on the seventh floor. And you heard people shouting, and so it was dangerous. So it was just like, yeah, it was. So that took about like maybe like like close to an hour to figure out the parking, and then we got back, and we were doing such great time too. I'm like, oh, we're gonna be out of here early, and then I ate up the hour that we were gonna leave. Yeah, I know, right? So, but it's just how it is, man. It's just how it is. It's just how you roll with the punches.
Yeah, yeah. I'm curious about I mean, nobody's got any illusions about doing this stuff that these long days can be pretty grueling.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see, did you leave each day feeling energized, or were you like pretty, oh man, just like
Well,
I need to recoup here.
I mean, I was tired. I mean, I'm already like a light night owl, but what was different with this time? We were so lucky that we were just shooting in one location, so we weren't, breaking down and building something else later on. We were just there, and that helped us out a lot. But it was still strenuous. Like, even though I wasn't doing too much of the heavy lifting, it was the next day, you just felt like you're at the gym for like 14 hours. You just feel like and then I'm getting older, and I lumber out of bed and kind of shuffling, and then but the very last day, because I was at the time I was working. I got laid off because I was doing this temporary work. My assignment's done, but I had to request some days off to shoot this project, and I knew I needed Monday off just to recover, because there's no way that I'm gonna go to work the next day, and then just it's not gonna work. So I needed a day just to recover, because my body felt like just it went through like the ringer. It just felt really sore.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I
yeah,
felt good, man. Like after I sat down over here in my editing bay and saw the images and imported it, just made sure that there's no corrupt files, and it's like it pepped me up. It's like, we're doing good, we're doing great. And what's great now is that you're able to get your SD card and upload all the stuff that you did the night before, and you kind of start editing certain pieces together to make sure that you got your coverage. And I that's where I discovered that beginning sequence wasn't going to work, because it didn't look good. So that's when the second day I talked to my DPs like, hey, like this is how it looks. We're gonna shoot the interrogation board, and this is gonna be our new beginning. And then we did that. So
Oh, so you made that determination after
yeah,
having already shot it. I
yeah, we
got you.
shot
Yeah,
it because that's what I want. Yeah, I thought that was gonna look good, but it didn't, man. But
yeah.
it's driving me crazy. I gotta look at it. I gotta edit it to make sure like it looks good. It didn't look good. But we still use part of that that footage. We just use the part where the detectives come through the door, and we only see like the we don't see their faces. It's obscured. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just like I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you probably shot on film, right? Like 16 or even 8 millimeter. You have to send it to a lab. You don't even know what you got, and then when you get it back, there's soft focus. You're like, oh, we see the guy over there standing in the corner. So it's like, I mean, I love film, but like digital just makes it safer. It's just like safe.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, right? You deal with what you have. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what re-inspired me to get back into filming. I'd been doing a little bit of commercial video work through the years when I was mostly a copyright. I was a
Yeah,
creative director at a ad agency for a number of years. Um,
you
but
should do
what
your
got
short
what
film, man.
Yeah, I mean, what got me into it was, yeah, when I was a kid, my dad used to have a 8 millimeter camera, the kind where you'd have to go into a closet and
Yeah.
take the reel out, flip it around because they would cut it in half. I mean,
Hmm.
it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And I started on that when I was, like 8, 9 years old. And then my dad, because he knew he was so supportive, he bought me a Super 8 camera,
Nice, dude.
yeah, the same thing. And he paid, but yeah, exactly. The whole process was just like, yeah, you're just praying.
Did you have your
Everything comes
editing?
out. There's nothing to do but send it to the lab, and then it comes back. And the way I did it, I made it like a short film
Yeah.
in Super 8 when I was like 17 years old. With I got all my friends together and we made kind of a sort of a vampire psychological thriller
Yeah.
type type short film, and you actually had to edit it together by cutting it, and we were using the tape,
Yeah.
not the liquid. And you'd have to, once it was edited, then you'd have to send it out and put a sound stripe on it.
Mm.
So we had to dub the entire thing.
Wow, man. And did you have your editing bay too? Did you watch the Fableman? Or like
Oh
it's
no,
like
I haven't seen that yet. I
because like
haven't
kind of
seen
like what
that
your
yet.
experience kind of sounded like what
Yeah.
Spielberg's character was doing. Like he had his dad bought him like an editing bay. I don't know what it's called, but like where you cut it and
Yeah,
you
it's got the
glue
two
it.
reels and you
You know
have
what
a
I'm
little
talking about.
crank.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
wasn't
Did
that
you have something
that
like that?
big. Yeah, yeah, it was a
Yeah,
yeah, very simple thing. It
yeah.
had a very small screen so you could, get to the
That's so cool,
exact
man.
thing,
Yeah.
and then you'd
Sounds like a
cut
pain in
it,
the ass.
splice the whole thing together. Yeah, it was a different thing. Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy because I remember when the digital stuff started coming around, the nonlinear editing systems started coming online.
Hmm.
And when they first came out, they were like completely dedicated systems. Like you had to use the software, the hardware. It was all proprietary,
Yeah.
and it didn't become universal until later. But no, I remember sitting down for about 3 days working with a videographer. He shot a commercial we were doing for our own agency,
Hmm.
and he did it in super VHS, because we didn't really have the budget to do a high
Yeah.
end type of thing, and he was doing it on a linear system. So you'd have to like zoom up, you
Hmm.
have to fast forward. It was digital. It got digitized and put into the system. But if you wanted to like fast forward stuff, yeah, it took forever.
Yeah.
you know and the speed and ease at which you can do this stuff now is just it's just phenomenal. It's amazing.
I know it really is. And now, like, you don't even need like a fancy camera. You just have your
No.
phone. Just figure out how to tell a story on your iPhone or your Samsung. I mean, it's the same thing.
Yes. Soderbergh did it.
Yeah, man. Like, well, what was that movie that Soderbergh did? It was like about a lady who was in an insane asylum. No,
Yeah, yeah,
that was a
yeah.
good.
It. I mean, it did not look very good.
Oh yeah, I didn't.
It was.
but
It was. It
I
was.
was still into the story. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah. But you know, it worked for the story. But yeah, yeah. Visually, it was pretty muddy. I'm a little surprised they didn't try to. I don't know, like
well,
fix that. I guess maybe he wanted a little more of a raw look.
Danny Boyle, like 20 years ago, he did what's it called? That movie with the zombies. I can't remember the name of it. 28 days later. He shot it on the Canon XL1, and it's like it. I mean, you remember? Do you watch? Do you remember watching 28 Days Later?
Oh, in
Like
the
how?
theater.
Yeah, like it was just so grainy because he shot it like on digital video, but now with the third one that's coming out this year, he shot it everything on the iPhone Pro 16. Like, but he had like different filters for for the iPhone. Uh, but yeah, like he's I was thinking about it, I was like, well, because that was so groundbreaking when he shot it on that camera because people were switching it to digital, but it looked like it didn't look good, but the story was great. But now I'm like curious to see how the new movie is gonna look with the iPhone shot. Uh, but you know, he used different lenses for it, so it wasn't just the iPhone. You know,
Oh, right.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing. Yeah, I haven't experimented too much with shooting things on the phone because I'm still, you know, trying to get proficient on, you know, a low end cinema style camera. Yeah, you've seen my. I don't know if you see my camera. It's kind of it's kind of like a DSLR, but it's kind of like Canon's, you know, baby cinema camera.
mhm,
You know, you got the C100, 200, 300, 500, you know,
yeah,
all those. This is the XC10. So it's kind of like their baby cinema camera. So it's kind of a hybrid, but it's very DSLR like.
yeah.
And oh man, yeah, I'm telling you, man, I just love shooting handheld with that camera.
I remember when I was going to film school, this guy was shooting on 35, and
Wow.
all the teachers loved the script. The actors were like it was great, but the cinematographer didn't know what he was doing. And then when he showed it in the premiere, like it was all soft focus, man. The footage looked like shit, and I just felt so bad for the guy because like he spent a lot of money on it, and the DP was like very arrogant, like he knew what he was talking about. But the whole thing was like, dude, you can't see anything. It's like somebody has the like, yeah, you want the projector to focus, but it's because it was just all out of focus when they were shooting it. And it was just it was heartbreaking because everybody was so in love with the script, and the acting was great. And because, you know, we were helping them, we saw it. But when you got the film back and we saw it, like, oh, this sucks, man.
Oh man. So
Yeah.
I mean, who was operating the camera?
Oh, you know, another film student. And that's the thing, you know, it's you're going to film school, so you're learning, but at somebody else's expense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. Yeah, at least doing these, you know, short films. You know, if and when we ever get to a place where, you know, people, you know, would actually, you know, produce these stories we want to tell. Yeah, nobody gets hurt, you know, because we're used to doing stuff for free.
Yeah, yeah, you know.
No, but that just brings up another interesting topic about independent, you know, the state of independent filmmaking. And I'm assuming that you would eventually want to write and direct a feature.
Oh yeah, man. That's been eluding me for like 20 years is the feature film, and it just drives me crazy that I watch somebody else's other people's work, and it's not. It just looks like they just turned on the camera and just said go. You know, there's no. it just doesn't look good. The performances aren't there, and the script sucks. I'm like, dude, I could. I mean, I don't want to. I think I could do a better job, but some people just think because you have a camera, you just record. It's gonna be brilliant. You have to put a lot of effort to it. You have to think about every shot. You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's always kind of mystifying to me how some yeah, particularly features, but I've watched an awful lot of I'm like way into science
Oh
fiction,
yeah, yeah, man.
so I've watched mostly science fiction shorts. I haven't seen a lot of dramatic shorts, but I've seen a lot of science fiction shorts, and I mean, I'm already kind of a science fiction snob,
Mhm. Yeah,
because I'm very passionate about the storytelling in science fiction. To me, it just has that extra something,
yeah, yeah. It has like
where
everything. Right?
you
Like it has like drama, horror, comedy. Like and then like
yeah.
the science stuff, the technology stuff. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I mean, and any genre is. I mean, I love everything. I love a good western. I love it, right? Like, I love all different kinds of storytelling. But for me personally, I want to do science fiction because it just holds a special place in my heart. Kind of inspired me, from the beginning. But I was just like I'm astounded at how few short stories had much of a story to tell.
Mm.
It seemed very often it was about the look, and often the look, and some of
Mm.
these independent films look unbelievable. I
Yeah,
mean, they are like top notch.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. Like we're lacking.
weak. You
Yeah.
know.
No, I totally agree. It's kind of like we're like 30 years ago, the stories were great, but like the technology was trying to catch up to the story. But now, like the technology overpassed the story. People they forgot how to tell stories because now it's like, oh, it, 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 yeah. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Right now, it's all about the look of it instead of like the story, which captivates people and which makes them watch and finish it, and connect with. You know.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess that's where a lot of people. I think of some of the directors, like the immediate thing comes around since it's science fiction is um, you know did you see Rebel Moon, Zack
I
Snyder's
saw the first one.
two part?
I didn't watch the
Oh,
second one.
it's it's bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's why I didn't
it's
watch the second one.
bad. It looks amazing, but
Yeah.
even then, there were like times where it was like, wow, that's like really obviously a green screen shot.
Mm, yeah.
But overall, yeah, the production values were just outstanding.
Yeah.
But that's just not. It's never
It's a
been
shame.
enough unless
Yeah.
you're talking about like first time movies, like right the first time you saw Close Encounters. It was like, oh man,
Yeah.
because the story is a little uneven in spots, but he more than makes up for it with that fantastic finale.
Mm,
That was just mesmerizing. you know but
yeah.
just I look at somebody like Zack Snyder, who I love some of his films.
Yeah.
um
Watchmen was really good.
the Watchmen, in my opinion, is the best graphic novel adaptation
Yeah.
ever done, like
Yeah.
period, hands down. I can't believe he did it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was ahead of its time. You know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And 300, a lot of people didn't care for this movie, but I really liked it.
I
Sucker
like 300
Punch.
too. That
Sucker
was really good.
Punch.
Yeah. Sucker Punch. I liked it. Not as much as
Yeah,
300. But I didn't think it was too bad. You know.
yeah. I thought it was, it had a unique voice and vision, and this is just like, I don't know. It's something that I'm hoping that James Cameron, um, comes about with a good story for the next Avatar movie, because
Mm,
it seems like sometimes certain directors they just fall in love with the technology.
yeah, like Star Wars. Yeah.
George Lucas, another example. he just like, George, man, what are you doing, dude? you know, I mean, spectacular visuals, but stories lagging.
I know. I mean, what movies are you looking forward to that are sci-fi that are like? I mean, we have 6 more months left to the year. Are there any sci-fi movies that you're looking forward to?
I'm sure there's some that I've kind of heard tell were coming out, and I'm hoping to be pleasantly surprised with a little movie that came out that will come out that I've never heard of. But the main one I'm looking forward to is the third Dune movie.
Oh yeah, 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 and that's something that I want to watch too, because they're pretty good, man. I really enjoyed the second one, Dune 2. That was really cool. That was
Oh
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, and I guess sci-fi. I don't know. I mean, I'm looking forward to watching the new Superman movie and Fantastic Four. Um, some other movies too, but I think those are the two most mainstream movies that I want to watch right now.
Yeah, I'm hopeless, hopefully optimistic about some of those. The Fantastic Four, the early trailers and
Yeah,
images they were showing, it looked like, oh, they're taking kind of this retro
yeah, like the '60s,
alternate
something like
50s
that. Yeah.
style, and I thought like, oh man, that could totally work. But
Oh, did you watch
I
Sinners?
don't know. And in the Superman, I don't know, man. I just like
I'm so
again,
yeah.
again with
Well, they
Superman.
it looks like they have like a more like a serious Lex Luthor, like more from
Yeah,
the stuff that I watched, like in the DC animated movies
yeah,
for that Lex Luthor, and I'm looking forward. Just I hope it's good, man. I hope
yeah.
this is the one that I've been
Me
waiting
too.
for because of yeah. But have you watched Sinners?
Oh no,
It's
no,
really
yeah,
good, man.
that's
It's a vampire movie, and the guy doesn't reinvent the vampire. You know, you got to let him in and all that. I mean, it's like if you know about the vampire lore, it's all there. But it's just like it's just original the way he did it because it takes place like during the 30s um and just like they're creating like a speakeasy and like it's pretty cool, man. I think you should totally check it out. It's visual. Like there's this moment where one of the characters he's jamming out and they do this long elaborate uh, one take where things start transitioning and it's so cool, man. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely like a movie to watch in the theater. So,
yeah. I was just gonna say I need to catch it soon because I always prefer to watch. Yeah, I'd never heard of it, and then when it came out, the more I found out about it, the more I really wanted to see it.
yeah,
Because I don't know it. I think it's more seems to be more often for horror films
yeah. It's a
that
so
I hear a
it's a
lot of
slow
hype.
burn. It's
Yeah,
a
I
slow
hear a lot
burn.
of hype about a particular horror film, and then I go see it, and I go, yeah, what do you like?
Yeah.
Two recent examples:
Mm.
Barbarian.
Yeah, how about the lady under the basement and
Yeah.
kidnaps different people?
And
Yeah,
right, the movie started with
yeah.
very different, and it takes that turn,
Mm.
quite a ways in. It's very well, and then it just goes into I
It
don't
gets
know.
different.
I just
Yeah,
I just thought, yeah, the last half hour of the movie was just ridiculous. Suddenly this old lady, I can buy that she's like super strong and all that stuff, but smashing her into a car and dropping her off of it's like, what is she, the Terminator now?
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
come on, man, you had something really different, and then you turned it into this
Super super
I don't know.
being
It just didn't
right.
click for me.
Yeah.
Another one, which a lot of people liked, and I don't get it, is It Follows.
Oh, it follows. Oh yeah, yeah. That's a good movie where the lady who
Yeah,
gets she gets like this demon attached to her and she has to pass it on to the next person.
yeah. She got to have
Yeah,
sex. She
yeah,
got
yeah.
to have sex to pass it on to the. Yeah, I mean, I liked elements of it, and I thought they did build up some good suspense, but I don't know. I don't get all the praise. I thought by the end, I was just like, my suspension of disbelief has just
Yeah,
been
yeah,
snapped.
yeah.
you know. I don't understand how some people like certain things like they've never seen this before. You know.
Yeah, man. Like I had like the same problem of my suspension of disbelief with like the Black Panther 2 movie where they go under the water, and I'm like, but they're talking under the water. I'm like, that doesn't. I mean, like I know it's a movie, but it's a little silly that they're having a full conversation and under the sea. I'm like, like water's not going to go in their lungs because there's a lot of pressure. How does that work? It
They're
works for animation.
superheroes.
It works for animation, but like I had the same problem with the Little Mermaid. Not because the Little Mermaid was black. It's just that they were singing and doing this whole thing under the ocean. I'm like, that doesn't. I cannot suspend my disbelief. For,
Yeah.
people
Sometimes
talking
they
in the water.
stretch it too far. Yeah, yeah. I've not given up on superhero movies, but at this point, I I'm trying to think of the last superhero stuff. Now I haven't seen a lot of the recent ones over the last couple few years because I just I just wasn't interested anymore. It's like
Yeah,
they were telling the same story
it's
over and
repetitive.
like how many times can you save the universe,
Yeah,
let alone the planet or the galaxy? You know what I mean? And so this Avengers, end game thing, it's like, what are you going to do after you've saved the entire universe? And
yeah. Where do you go from there?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
because we watched because on Disney Plus they had the new Captain America Brave New World with Harrison
yeah,
Ford. It was garbage, dude. I'm like, I watched it because I wasn't gonna pay for it. I'm like, all right, let's put it on. And dude, it just felt like a made for TV movie that they released in a theater. You know?
yeah. I mean, you understand why they do it. They're trying to
Of course.
squeeze
Yeah,
every last dollar they can get
yeah,
out of the franchise. But the thing that mystifies me sometimes, and this kind of gets back to like you wonder how certain films get greenlit. How did this movie get greenlit? Like it's going to be a $200 million movie. At least. And at some point, somebody say, you know what, we've kind of been here, done that. I think we need to try something new,
mm,
and you could do it for a lot less. Why don't they take 50 million and do something new,
yeah,
and then maybe it'll catch fire, and then you can milk that for a while.
yeah.
So just strictly from a business sense, it's like they're I don't know, at this point I think they're damaging the brand. you
Mm.
know
No, I mean I agree, and I'm just kind of burnt out a little bit, but it has to be like the right one that to get me
yeah
like in a theater. But I mean we'll see, dude. But I mean I'm curious, like uh, when do you want to film? When are you going to film your short film? Out, right? It's called Out with like the
Out.
yeah. I would try to film it if I were you. You know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I am so chomping at the bit, to
Yeah.
do that. But that's going to be um, it's going to require
Money.
a bit higher level of, it's going to require some money. I mean, I mean, I think you share my view in it. If it's the right project, I'll work for free,
Mm,
but got to pay the actors and the crew, and it's not a lot to begin with, but
yeah.
it does have a very very large prop, and I'm literally going to convert half of my garage into a set.
Yeah.
Which means tiling the floor and building, basically about half of the garage.
Mm.
Creating an entire set, because that's where most of the action takes place. So that's going to be, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah, man. I can't wait for you to do that because I I want to see it.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know about you, but when particularly when I'm working on something for imperfect pairs, and dude, I think like all the time I'm like editing in my head,
Mm.
or imagining certain scenes. I mean, I when I'm involved in the production, I just think about it all the time, just keep imagining different things. And so that's what I've been doing without, since I can't really, can't really afford to spend the time to, work on it too much at this point. But, you know, I'm constantly thinking of ways to shoot certain things, or, you know, the impact I want this particular scene to
Mm-hmm.
have. And yeah, the main thing that I want to do is that the climax. Uh, I just really want it to be like super intense.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to put yourself in that person who's going into the Strand. Is he going into another universe? And that the tension, and I have an idea for how I want that to come off. So that's my biggest challenge on that. If that doesn't work, then the entire short film doesn't work. If you
Yeah,
don't get that, like, if you're not like back in your chair by the end, then I haven't done my job.
yeah. I know what you're saying. Like I yesterday I watched this movie on Netflix called Hitchcock. It's about Alfred Hitchcock and
With
Anthony.
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, watch this. Sure.
Yeah, I haven't
But
seen it.
he said when he was watching Psycho the first cut, he's all like, it's still boring, and he meant it because it didn't do anything. It was just like it didn't. Nobody was affected by it. So that's what you don't want. You don't want your movie to be
Yeah.
still boring.
Yeah, that's interesting. Hitchcock, something that he said that really stuck with me, and I don't know how much of this, about his personality and how he approached things, but he was saying something like, when the script is written and the storyboards are done, like the movie's over for him. Now he's
Mhm.
got to go out and shoot it.
Yeah.
He kind of had that attitude. It's like, I've already got the thing visualized. Now I got to go through all the trouble of right?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I heard some. I heard something like that where exactly what he said. Like the whole story, like the objectives and all that. It's all in the script. Now they just have to go. Go shoot it because he said like once the script is done, then you just have to shoot it because everything's just there for him to shoot. And yeah, like Scorsese, he said that uh, his most favorite part of making a movie is post production because just being on set is just like he said, it's a mess. And and to hear him say something like that, because like he's such an auteur, you would think that he would enjoy being on set. That he'd just be like, no, he's like it's a nightmare, man. He's kind of like getting out of bed, like you don't want to get out of bed, but you got to do it because it was just a mess. It's a mess. I'm like, wow. I'm like, it didn't make me feel too bad. Because like sometimes when I'm on set, I'm like, damn, this is like I, it's like this is a lot. I'm stressing out here, man. And like it's like, oh, it's everybody has that same feeling. Even Peter Jackson said that his favorite part in production is post production because you could just chill in the couch and watch the editor make the movie. And I totally dig that, man. I know what they're talking about.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been a graphic designer. Was dabbled in comics. I did some illustration, cartooning. I did actually was a chiefly a cartoonist for probably 2 or 3 years. That's what I mostly did. Um, but of all those visual, creative means, um, doing short films. It's like, yeah, this tremendous amount of prep, tremendous amount of effort in producing it. And then, yeah, like you said, when you get to post production, now you got all
There
your
you go. The pieces there.
pieces.
Yeah.
Now you can start putting them together and see how the puzzle
Yeah.
starts unfolding. Yeah, it's like nothing I've ever done. I just, to me, it's the epitome of creative expression, because it takes so many different people and so many different things coming together. Yeah, I just
It's like
love it.
it's like writing again. Like it's a visual form of writing.
Yeah.
And, but it's cool, man. Like I can't wait. Like once the movie is out, my producer Byron, he wants to do like a professional movie premiere. He said he wants to get like catering and like a red carpet.
Oh,
And I'm like, all right,
sweet.
man. I'm like, cool. I'm like, let me drop some weight. So I can look good, you know. But if you're available, I mean, it's going to be over here. I know it's a long ass drive. I'll definitely send you an invite.
Oh, please, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll on my Facebook and whatnot, I'll whenever that thing comes about, yeah, I'll help you promote that because yeah, I can't wait to see it,
Yeah.
and hope that it keeps leading to something for you. And I want to produce Time Box.
Oh yeah, for sure,
That
dude. Yeah,
that
we're
story is, yeah, that's a tight story. I think it'll make a terrific short film. So I'm hoping that that'll come up sometime within the next
next,
year.
yeah. Like I said, like because we did like a tech run yesterday. That my instructor, he's part of this judging panel that awards like certain short films like X amount of money, like $5,000 to $10,000 per project, and he's gonna submit. He's gonna give us a link to submit our projects if we have something. But the catch is that we have to shoot it in Boyle Heights or East LA and have some kind of like Latino influence. It doesn't have to be about Latinos. It just has to have like the community there. It's like all right,
Yeah. It's like
yeah,
supporting minorities in
exactly.
filmmaking,
Yeah,
basically, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna see if we can get the funding through that organization, and we'll make that movie. If
Oh yeah, that'd be so cool,
yeah,
man. Yeah.
yeah,
All right. Well, yeah. And I'll have you back on, over the months as things unfold and whatnot, because yeah, there's a zillion more things I'd like to pick your brain about and get your opinions on,
oh yeah, for
about
sure,
the
man.
the state of independent filmmaking and how we can each do what we can to try to foster, and I like staying local with
Yeah,
actors and technicians and all that kind of thing.
because
So
that's all changing, man. That's a whole like other. That's a big topic right there with the way the industry's going. Like I'm going back trying to make movies, and people are leaving. I heard that there's like there was a vice president of a network that she can't find work anymore, so she's leaving the entertainment industry.
yeah,
Like people are leaving because there's no work. Like this
yeah,
just
yeah. It seems like I'm hoping things reach a happy medium where
yeah,
once the prices come down for some of this stuff and people start taking a few more chances on some other people. But I think just overall the price for production has got to come down.
oh man,
It's just too
yeah,
expensive.
yeah,
Unless you're doing a big tent pole movie, you've got to figure out a way to do it for cheaper, or yeah, it's just I think it's just going to get worse.
yeah. I do too, man. And I don't know what's gonna happen, but I mean, they say they want to save it with like tax breaks, but they say it's not enough, especially over here in California.
Right.
But well, I mean, we'll see. But that's a
Yeah.
I don't know. Nah. It's like because my room's over there and I hear shit going down over there.
Oh.
No, but yeah, man. Like whatever. If you have any questions about filmmaking stuff, I encourage you, Baron, to even if it's not out, you just make another short film. Just something, just to keep it going. Because
Yeah, I've
you
got,
get
yeah.
better at it. The more you do stuff, the better you get at it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to bolster my my social media stuff.
Mm,
So I've become a content creator.
yeah, I know.
So that at least it's something. It keeps
Yeah,
me shooting and editing and trying out some different stuff. Yeah. It's not it's a poor
just keep on
substitute
creating,
for
man. Keep
it's
on
a poor
creating.
substitute for doing a short film, but it'll tide me until then.
Yeah, man. Just do more music videos, more stuff, and just keep on doing it. And then someday you'll do out and maybe a feature, and yeah, yeah, just gotta keep on
Yeah.
pushing.
No, yeah, that's going to be so cool to see what happens over the next few years,
Yeah, it's
for
man.
both of us. Yeah. All right, man. Yeah, really appreciate you taking the time to
Thanks for
do
having me,
this,
man. Appreciate it.
and yeah, we'll definitely be in touch. Hopefully sooner rather than later, and definitely send me that invite, and I'll make sure my friends and family know know about it because they're
Oh, for sure, dude. Thank you. I
yeah.
appreciate it.
Sure.
And just before you go, I could like once we're done, I could get the link and post it on Facebook, or was it going to be on tomorrow? Because I know we're live, but once
Yeah,
we're
it gets it I think the YouTube link is the same.
oh,
I'm not 100%.
we'll see.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think it retains the same link, and it just sits there on YouTube until you go live, and then it becomes just it's a recording, on YouTube. But I'll check that to make sure that's the case, and send you a new link if that's the case. Yeah.
Sounds good, buddy. I really appreciate it again. Thank you.
All right, man. Yeah, we'll be talking to you soon.
Bye, guys. See ya. How do I log off? The Leave Studio. There we go.
Go.